for this next just little bit because I definitely want to get some feedback on becoming a high performance human. So we're going to break this down into, we'll say, four quadrants. One, body. Two, mindset. Three, environment. And four, identity. Which Karen kind of hit on a few of these. So I love that she brought that up. So what about high performance bodies? Like when you think about that, what immediately pops in your head?
A
Somebody that
lean
looks
body,
athletic and fit.
capable.
Yeah, a lean.
Okay. Okay. So someone that's athletic, lean, and I would even say like someone that moves with purpose. I told Rachel the other day we were somewhere, we were on this tram somewhere, and I was noticing all these people getting onto and off this tram. I was like, these people don't even know how to move. They literally don't understand their own body's mechanics. I mean, looking at these people just getting off, stepping from like 6 inches down to to the ground, it was awful. Like no wonder chiropractors are in business, like they are, or physical therapists. Like people just don't know how to move. They don't know how to move themselves. No wonder they go to a store and pick up a bag of dog food, and as they bend over to pick this up from the bottom shelf, they have a herniated disc. You know, like no wonder we're seeing all these things happen around us because people are not aware of themselves enough to move properly. One, two, and they sure as hell ain't going out to move weight or know how to move weight well. From a gym side of things. Uh, and I think I was talking to someone the other day about this. When it comes to moving weight, like our focus is moving weight to be able to change us. And I think sometimes we get that twisted because we're trying to move weight for the sake of moving weight, changing, just our environment, not necessarily ourselves. And two, move weight to exhaustion. Just because we're exhausted, we don't feel like we could, move any more weight or whatever. Like there's a difference. So there's something called anaerobic, and aerobic. So you have aerobic energy, which 80, everyone knows in the 80s, everybody was into aerobics, and you had your aerobics class and all that kind of stuff. But anaerobic activity is activity that isn't taxing on the system. It's taxing on the muscles. And make no like bones about it. Training, it training, your training program is built as a muscle building program, and you may have a little bit of resistance to this. Like most women, talk about, I want to get lean and tone, but I don't want to be bulky. That's not going to happen. If you think losing fat is difficult, then gaining muscle, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than losing fat. And it doesn't just show up overnight. Uh, but I think whenever we get into that place of just trying to focus on performance and mixing that with strength training, that we're actually dissolving the best of both of those worlds. Like we're not actually getting 100% of the performance, and we're not actually getting 100% of the strength training. So when we think about that, and you mentioned like a lean tone body, okay, well, we're definitely talking about fat loss. We're definitely talking about strength, poise, and like just agility, being able to do simple things like uh, get down on the floor play with the kids, stand back up, not be injured, or to, do really anything that we want. I think, to me, the high performance body is being able to pretty much do anything that you want to do with your body. Would anybody else agree to that?
I think I'd add in there that like pain free and with ease.
Right. Right. Yeah. Not having to think about, okay, when I pick this up, I want to make sure that my back's straight and make sure that, get my back brace and all that stuff on. Right. Yeah. Moving pain free. That's like the three steps in moving: getting you moving well, and getting you moving weight. That's most people that come into high performance human are starting to move some weight, but first we just want to make sure that they're moving well before they're moving weight. As someone that has spent 5 years as an IC with a chiropractor, no one knows how to stand up, no one knows how to sit down, no one knows proper posture. But when they're sitting at a computer for over 2 minutes, like I've worked with so many, I don't know how many thousands of clients, and it was really, really eye opening to even see people that were like first responders, that were doing nothing all day but picking up people and putting them on a gurney, that didn't know how to bend over and do that, didn't know how to squat, didn't even know how to like stand up and sit down properly. Um, and we know these things innately. Like we know, if you take a kid that's Raylene, how old is your youngest son?
He's 8.
He he would probably do this. Typically, around 3 to 4 years old, we start to overthink or outthink our innate intelligence, how we're supposed to move. But most little kids, you can take a pin or something, drop it on the floor, and just stand there next to it and say, "Hey, can you pick that up for me?" They'll walk over and they'll squat down, pick it up, and hand it back to you. And you can get a kid that's like 10 to do the same thing, and they'll come over there and they'll do that crane thing, just right broken backside. And it's not because of any other reason that they've started over, like they've deprogrammed their innate intelligence to be able to move. And that sounds weird, but I've seen that play out so many times. It's not funny. So let's jump into, or if anyone else has anything to say about bodies. Mind. You guys know is my favorite. We couldn't have a challenge call without talking about mindset. Um, and I probably got way too many notes on this, so um, but I instead of like rehashing everything that we've ever really talked about when it comes to mindset, mental programming, uh, I would start with a high performance mind is a mind that doesn't have to choose, doesn't feel like they have to choose between either or, right? So a lot of people are backed into this place where they have to choose either their wealth or their health. They can be successful, or they can have, they can spend time with their family. And when you realize that you can actually, like, why not have both? And a lot of times when I'm talking to people, especially high performers, like I've got to do this. Like this is I'm doing this for my family. My success is for my family, but you're never around for your family. How is your success going to, help your family? Like, why can't you just have both? Like, is there a world? Is there a perception change that needs to happen that you could have a successful career or be successful as a business owner and be successful as like a member of your family rather than just popping in every once in a while kind of thing? Uh, again, that goes back to this old scripting. Like I've got this either or. This is the only thing that I have this choice. And typically, it's a choice that we've given ourselves. It's not really a choice that is even has even been presented as much as it's something that we feel like we need to choose or focus on more. So, like, why can't why can't I have it all? Why do I feel like I have to choose? And like, how much pleasure can I endure? I like to like this is one thing I definitely want to reinforce, certainly when it comes to the mindset side of things. Like we all lean into suffering a bit, but what if we could have exactly what we wanted? We didn't have to suffer for it. Matter of fact, it was a pleasurable experience to have it. Like, could we even handle that? Could our brains handle that? Could we actually compute the emotions that would come from that and the life that would actually that we built? Like we designed that life from that because like what you play on the stage of your mind is a preview of coming attractions. So remember when I posted the TikTok collections and like these are the videos and like there's I don't know how many times in a day that I'll just sit there and take a break and just look at my phone and flip through those. Like I've got a car on there that I want. Uh, I've got the POV of this person driving this car. Like I want that experience. There's plenty of other things on there, and I've got multiple ones. But I want that playing on the stage of my mind. Like I want to be able to uh, empower my super powered puppy to be able to get those things right, and like your unconscious can be used as that super powered puppy. So how many people on here have a dog? I don't have a dog. I've had dogs in the past. I know what they're like. Uh, but if you're playing fetch with a dog, the first thing that you do is like you have this stick or this toy, or whatever, you hold up to them and they know, like, okay, this is the thing I'm going after. And you pitch it. And when you pitch it out there, they know there's one thing they should be coming back with. What if we could take our unconscious and be playing on the stage of our mind exactly what we want and then empower our subconscious or our unconscious, our super powered puppy to go get that thing. Like, could we handle that? These are all good questions to ask because the at the end of the day, like the goal isn't really the goal. The goal is going to change. The goal is becoming the person that it takes to achieve that goal. And identity is becoming that person that can do this time after time. Now, I know that's a lot, but I love the analogy of the superpowered puppy. Like that makes it so much more real to me because I've definitely had dogs in my life that loved like a toy or a ball or something. I had a dog that loved the an empty milk jug. If she knew a milk jug was about to be empty, she would just sit underneath you waiting for that. You wash it out, you throw it down in the kitchen, and it was on. Like she would, that was her favorite toy. We bought her everything else, and that was her favorite toy. And I don't know, just when I think about that, using the unconscious as a superpowered puppy to get exactly what I want and how it's playing out, currently on the stage of my mind. Uh, that excites me because I know that that's also like my unconscious aligning to those things, to those experiences, to those material things, right? So if you had a superpowered puppy, what would it be going after? That's the question that you want to ask yourself. And I might bring Karen back on for this, but I definitely want to talk about environment. Give me like two or three things when you think environment. What are the things that pop in your head?
Work and home.
Working at home?
Work and home.
Oh, okay. Working at home. Gotcha. Uh, with that with that thought of say at home, like your home environment, um, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's an environment that is pushing you toward or helping you get to where you want faster? Or do you feel like it's something that is implementing resistance in the process?
As long as it's just me and my family, it's an environment that helps with my goal, like moving towards that. Now, if I have my in laws here, it's a constant resistance, but we had a conversation in the very, like on the onboarding of the program, and you had talked to me about, going in a different way and asking for support. And I did it, but for some reason, my mother in law still tries to sabotage me. I don't know why, but I've been able to resist it more. It just happened to be that I was not on a cut when she was here the last time, so it was a little bit easier. But to long story short, if I have the house maintained the way that we like to have it, it's totally towards my goal because my husband's super supportive. Um, Otherwise, if I'm in a different environment, like if my in-laws are here, then it's total resistance.
Mm, mm.
And they come often. So
So that's something that's going to happen, right? That's gonna be
yes.
like a mainstay in your life. So what's the what's the strategy that you plan on implementing to make it easy and effortless to stick to your targets whenever they're there?
So the past time around, um, I don't want to say that I had more willpower. I would like to say that I've gained that discipline and change to where she would cook something and, why aren't you eating it? Because someone had mentioned before it's disrespectful, like her with her family is disrespectful. My husband is from Guam, so it's like an islander kind of thing where they cook for like the whole island just for dinner. And why aren't you eating it? Why aren't you eating it? And I just kind of, well, because I'm going to eat this. And kind of taken that quote unquote punishment from her, like the lip and the attitude and all that, and just done my own thing. And eventually she kind of backed off. But with me, it's more the three pies that are on the counter and the cake in the fridge that she buys just so that she can see me fall.
Mm.
She literally, I asked my husband, I go, do you think she does it just because? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. It's because you're saying no to her. So she's going to try to push you to say yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady. So I just have to get like the yasso ice cream and the things that I know that I can eat and just literally isolate myself in my room until they leave.
So how do you want to feel whenever they leave? Like how do you want to feel whenever that's happening and you're right in the like the thick of it, like it's time to make a decision. You might piss someone off, but you've already had the conversations. Like what do you want the outcome to be?
With them,
Hmm. Yeah, they ain't
I
going
want
nowhere.
her. Yeah. I want her to just to get used to it. I want her to. The next time she comes, well, it's not gonna. I want to break her down versus her break me down.
Ah, why do you why do you want to break her down?
No, like break her down with the resist. Like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop buying all this stuff because honestly, it all goes in the trash. That's another thing bothers me, but that's a totally different subject.
Mhm.
But it is literally bought so that it will be a temptation for us to eat because it's not even things that she eats herself.
Mhm.
So it's not like she's buying that chocolate cake because she loves chocolate cake. It's because she knows that we will eat it. So I want that to reverse, like, oh, well, you know what? It's going to be a waste. So I won't even buy it. So I mean it like that, like break her down to where she's going to say, I'm just going to stop now.
Right, right.
And,
So
and
there's a I think there's an exercise that you could apply here that
okay.
would dissolve that situation. But uh, but I think there's an element of you maybe wanting to feel like you are going to win this. And I can tell you that there's really not going to be a win. The only win is that you're going to be able to uh, consistently practice your CDE,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to be able to stick to your targets and not feel like there's been an immense amount of pressure on you. So we're going to go through this, and I call it the this or that. Let's pretend that you're at the mall, you're trying on shoes at a store, and this dude just walks up to you and he's like, "Hey, I saw you in this other store. Um, do you come here often?" Like, wow, just starting to strike up a conversation. And you're like, no, not really, but I needed some shoes and just, whatever. And your husband's not around. It's just you. And this guy starts like putting the moves on you, asking you, hey, where do you work? Do you mind if we exchange phone numbers? I'm at this hotel for the next couple of days. And, it'd be nice just to hang around with somebody that's from around here. We'll just see where it goes. What would you do?
Go away. No,
Why
thank
wouldn't you?
you.
Why wouldn't you entertain the idea of being with this? And he's a sexy dude. This guy looks like he's freaking straight out of GQ. Like, oh my god! And you can see his car keys, and they look like they've got a Ferrari insignia on them. And he's in your
No,
town for the next 3 days. And he wants you to
that's
come over.
nice. I would be flattered, but I would not because of my husband, of my morals, of my values, of my ethics.
Okay. So
Go
you feel pretty
away.
strongly about that.
Absolutely.
So you're saying to me that you would rather have a great relationship with your husband, like you would rather have that than
Mhm.
this awesome time you could have with this wealthy dude that's in town for 3 nights at the Four Seasons or whatever in his Ferrari.
Yes,
So you'd rather choose your husband, you would rather choose that over this.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because okay, so you say that, and in regards to, and you'll probably come back at me and make me like, okay, realize it that it's not just relationships, but I always tell like the young people that are in my life that kind of hop around. I said, the person that you're with now, why are you with them? Are they 100% of what you want? Nobody's 100% of what you want, but they're at least 90%, right? So if the 10% comes by and he tries to snatch you away, are you going to leave the 90 for the 10? Because by the end of the week, are you going to realize that 10% is not enough and you already let go of the 90%? Like you let it sabotage you.
Okay.
So Yeah, my husband, I mean, we've been together forever and he's old and well, he's not old, but he's older. And, GQ model is probably like 10 years younger, but definitely, definitely him.
Oh yeah, he's 10 years younger. He's got a freaking 8-pack that you could shred cheese on.
No,
He's
thank
inviting
you.
you over to the hot tub because it's really nice at the Four Seasons. Okay, so
No.
the drill, like the exercise you just went through, is what I call like the this or that exercise, and it's simply if you feel that strongly about passing up on this hunk of a man that's about to it wants to rock your world for your husband, and you're choosing that over this right now, then take that same energy, that same emotion, that same disgust to this lemon meringue pie that's being thrown in front of you. Because it's the same, right? It's
Mm,
the same conversation. Would
yeah.
you rather have exactly what you want and the reason, like you would you rather have the thing that you want for the reasons that you want it and consistently daily execute to get it? Or would you rather have this right now?
hmm That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean there's plenty of things in life that's gonna pop up, but you have the control. Like you have 100% control of what goes in your mouth. You have 100% control of what happens like in your body, right? But you're taking, either this glass of wine or whatever. Like you have control. You have a lot more control than you've maybe given yourself in the past. And it's time for you to rewrite that script and take back that control from the people that are manipulating you to choose the guy at the Four Seasons. Just think about that. Next time you have this conversation, next time you see these pies laying everywhere, you want that more than you want this.
That's good. Yeah.
And you'll be armed to make the right decision for you. Which leads me into the last thing we're going to talk about tonight. And this is something I'm not going to go in depth on because I want this to be homework. Um, Identity. We talk about you 2.0 and who I'm also referring to as high performance human you. Like your identity as a high performance human, what would that look like? Obviously, that has to do with your mind, your body, your environment. And your environment even plays into like, what are you uh, creating around you to be able to effortlessly propel you to what you want? And that could be the music you're listening to. That could be, oh my God, the influencers that you're seeing constantly through YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Audit your environment. I think a good way to end this tonight, because I do want you to take time over the next few days, like design you, the high performance version of you, the high performance human version of you, uh, body, mind, environment, and the characteristics. But audit your environment. Is there something going on that is pulling you slightly away? Is there something happening in your life around you that is implementing resistance or friction to what you want? Audit that. Ask yourself, like, am I allowing this? Did I decide this? Is this a decision that I've made, or is this a script that I'm reading from? And then everyone on here already knows. Like if this is a script you're reading from, you can change that script. You can start to execute a new script after you've programmed it and installed it, and then modify from there.